So today we are focusing on healthy eating on a budget. If you don't know me, my name is Hannah, actually Hamilton. I recently was married, so I need to change that. And I am a registered dietitian, and we have been doing these nutrition classes once a month with the Rural Health Network, and I believe this is number 7 for the year. All right. So before we get into the main part of the presentation, I just kind of wanted to talk about the cost of poor health because this is important. Because people think eating healthy is expensive, but they don't realize if you don't invest in your health early on, it could lead to higher cost later in life. So just want to kind of give you an overview of what happens when you do not really pay attention to your health early on, and then you have to pay for it later. So 45% of all cardiometabolic deaths are linked to unhealthy diet habits. Heart disease and stroke are actually the top killers in America. More than 868,000 Americans die every year, which is about, again, a third of all the deaths. And these diseases cost our healthcare system about $214 billion per year, and about $138 billion in lost productivity on the job. So meaning if you can't make it to work because you're not feeling well, again, that costs money as well. And then more than 32.4 million Americans have diabetes, with another 88 million having prediabetes. And in 2017, the total estimated cost of medical bills and loss of productivity was $327 billion. So that is a lot of money lost to poor health, which again, 45% of these deaths are linked to those unhealthy diets. So diet plays a really big role, proper nutrition, in preventing these diseases, or at least keeping them off for most of your life. So definitely cost money down the line. They actually looked at a recent study back in 2019. Looked at about 1 million people in this study, and they wanted to look at the financial burden of the unhealthy diets in the United States for people. They looked at 10 different food groups of these people, their intake of fruits, vegetables, nuts and seeds, whole grains, unprocessed red meats. So again, those ones I just mentioned were the healthier foods, and then they looked at also the unhealthier foods, the processed meats, the sugar sweetened beverage intake, sodium, and one of the healthier ones, healthy fats. So this study showed about 20% of heart disease, stroke, and diabetes costs were due to poor diet, and this was equated to about $50 billion a year in healthcare costs. And the major diet habits that contributed to these high costs were the high consumption of processed meats, the low consumption of nuts and seeds, which is going to be your healthy fats, and the low consumption of actually seafood, because seafood has those omega-3 fatty acids, which is good for overall health and immune support. That's just one study that they looked at to show you the cost of choosing to follow an unhealthier diet. Okay, so today we're going to talk about how to really eat healthy when on a budget. We're all trying to, stay on a budget, and food is a big cost that we want to add into our budget. So we really need to be cautious, and be aware of how much money we're spending on food, so we can, feel good about that, and then also healthy as well. So today we're going to talk about making a plan, shopping smart, and how to prepare those healthy meals. Okay, so making a plan. It really helps to be organized and write things down. And before you even start, it's a really good idea to kind of go through your pantry, your freezer, your fridge, and figure out what you already have so you don't buy any items. So a lot of times, people don't even look at what they have. They go to the store and they buy double, and then you get home and you're like, oh, I already had that. So obviously that can hurt you later with cost and trying to be in a budget. So go through all your stuff in your pantry and your freezer, see what you have, throw away expired items. I know we keep a lot of stuff in our fridge, especially in our pantry, that's expired. So trying to get rid and kind of clean out your pantry and fridge is really helpful. So definitely do that when you first begin doing this. And then another thing I really suggest is definitely making a plan for your meals for the week. A lot of people like to make a whole plan, 7-day plan, a 5-day plan. But if this is something new to you, I definitely recommend starting with, a 2 to 3 day plan, or even a 1-day plan. Try to do something that's not going to be overwhelming for you if this is something new that you're doing. But definitely planning your meals ahead of time definitely help you feel organized, and then purchase just the things you need for those meals. And then definitely have a guide of some sort to create healthier meals. You want to focus again on buying more whole foods. You want to limit those processed foods. And again, making a list of the items that you need and the items that you already have, so you know not to purchase double. Elizabeth does have a handout there today. It is the weekly calendar meal plan. So she can definitely get that to you if that's something you are interested in doing. Okay, so a lot of times with meal planning, a lot of people don't know, I don't know what recipes to follow. Like, what do I cook? So, especially when you're trying new things, I really recommend just trying one new recipe a week. You really don't want to overwhelm yourself with trying a ton of different things, because again, that can just lead to frustration, or if it doesn't turn out right, and it can just be a lot of work as well. And time is also, money. So you want to make sure you're using your time wisely. But trying new recipes can make cooking fun. Again, you can find a really good recipe that you like, so it can be really tasty. Again, just trying maybe one new recipe a week. Trying maybe a new vegetable, a new meat, a new fruit. So maybe picking one new food that you want to try, and then honestly just going in and Googling, recipe with butternut squash or whatever that you want to try, and it will come up with so many great different recipes you can pick. And again, including this new recipe into your meal plan as well. There's a really great website that My Plate has. I want to just show that to you really quick. It's called the My Plate Kitchen. They have recipes, they have videos, they have a lot of great information. Let's see if I can get out of here. Okay, I'll show you that. This. Elizabeth, can you see that My Plate Kitchen website? Is it on there?
No.
No? Okay. Let me go back. Let's see. Oh, geez. Okay. I don't know how to go back. Are you seeing my PowerPoint again?
Correct, yes.
Okay. All right, so I don't know how to go to the other page, but if you are interested, like I said, it's a really great website. Honestly, just search My Plate Kitchen in Google and it should pop right up. But again, it has recipes, it has videos that follow the USDA guidelines. So that's, healthier recipes to follow. And they do features, like this month they're doing an avocado feature. So they have a lot of great recipes with avocados. So definitely check out that website if you feel, a little bit lost with trying a new recipe. They have a lot of great options that you can choose from. Okay. And then again, making a plan, you want to schedule the time that you're going to prepare and cook. So again, having a plan in place of, what you're going to make, and then also the time that you're going to make it can really be helpful. So you want to, again, think about your own schedule, like when, think about your work schedule, if there's other things in your schedule that you have to do, and then try to figure out when you can do some meal prepping during the week, and then writing that down. Say, okay, I'm going to spend 20 minutes on Monday cutting up some vegetables. If you're short on time, again, choose easier meals to prepare. So on that My Plate website, they do have like 30-minute or under meals. That's very popular on a lot of websites, is those quicker meals. So trying to choose something that's not as time consuming to make is important if time is short for you. And then prepping as much as you can when you have time. So you don't need to sit down and do 2 to 3 hours of meal prepping. You can break it up. So if you have 20 minutes, okay, maybe chop some vegetables in the 20 minutes. And then maybe the next day you can make some sauces to go with those meals. And then so again, prep when you can. Don't think that you have to have 2 to 3 hours of time to do a bunch of meal prepping. You can definitely break it up as needed. And then also, if there is a longer recipe you do want to try, definitely try to put on that you have more time, or maybe have somebody to help you prepare that recipe, so you're not overwhelming yourself with a long recipe. Okay, so it's really important to shop smart. So Coupons, know the deals. One of my favorite things to do personally is the smartphone apps. I love the Publix smartphone app. It's so great. You can see you can literally find the store that you usually go to. So when I'm in Key West, the Publix that you go to in Key West, select that store, and it will show you all the deals they have going on, all the BOGOs, all the discounts. And then you can also create a list on the app, your grocery list, and it will tell you exactly where to find those items on what aisle in the grocery store. So they make it really easy. So I highly recommend downloading the apps. When Dixie has one as well, I'm not as familiar with that one, but I'm pretty sure it works similarly to the Publix one. Again, it tells you all the sale prices and what date the sale is good through. So this is important to look at. So sometimes they put sales on there that are not till the following day. So definitely take into account what dates those sales are on. And then sometimes, obviously, we're all human. Publix kind of makes mistakes sometimes. Maybe they'll forget to put an item that's actually on sale. So that might happen as well. So when you do check out, make sure that you're kind of watching the screen when they check out to make sure you're getting those discounts that that you were told are on sale. They also have virtual coupons on the app. Again, you just select the coupon and enter your phone number when you are checking out at Publix, and it will take the coupon and the money off. Another good thing you can do too is order ahead of time if you're buying like lunch meats or cheeses or things like that. You can also order those ahead of time and have those ready to go, so you can just pick it up. You don't even have to go through the line. So the apps are really great. If you're not a big smartphone person and the apps are kind of confusing, obviously you can get the coupons and the sales. The Free Press has them, and for Publix, every Wednesday you can go pick those up for free, and you can see what the discounts are for the week. So definitely knowing the deals. Publix has great BOGO sales, so definitely get familiar with that. Okay, so again, before you go grocery shopping, I'm sure everyone's heard this before. Create your shopping list. Okay, sit down, write down your list, have your meal plan or meal calendar handy so you know exactly what you need. You've already cleaned out your kitchen, you've already cleaned out your pantry, so you know what foods that you need to buy. Go through your apps and coupons and see what those deals were. Maybe you can find comparable items that are on sale, so use that as well. And then also when you're at the store, don't feel like you have to always buy fresh produce. Okay, frozen and canned items are usually tend to be more affordable, and they're usually just as tasty. Okay, so especially frozen, they're usually picked right at the peak of season and then flash frozen. So there's no harm in buying frozen and canned vegetables. It can save you time and it can save you money. Another good thing to know is what produce is in season when. So this is important because usually the produce tastes better when it's in season, and that's usually more affordable as well because they're more plentiful. Okay, so as you can see to the right here, for August, there's a lot of great vegetables and fruits that are in season right now. So tomatoes, zucchini, cabbage, avocado. That's why they featured avocado on the My Plate website. And then lots of great melons, all the berries, figs, peaches, plums. Those are really, the nectarines right now are really good. So they're usually going to be on sale when they're in season, or they're going to be just more affordable in general. So knowing that is really easy, a really good idea. Honestly, if you just search, what's in season for August, you'll get a million things popped up. So it's pretty easy to figure out. Okay, so now you made your plan, you've gone to the store, you've done really well with the coupons and the shopping and the smarter shopping. So now you're ready to prepare those healthy meals. Okay, so before you start cooking, again, organizing your kitchen, we talked about earlier, but also making, organizing things to help you cook easier too. So having things out like cooking sprays, having those spatulas out, those cutting boards close by, so you're ready and you're prepared to cook these foods. And just know where everything is in your kitchen. An organized kitchen can be such a lifesaver and can really help when it comes to cooking and not getting so frustrated trying to find something. So clear the clutter. Before you start cooking, clear off a space to allow more room to prepare your meals. And then again, have all your ingredients in place and ready to use. Some people like to portion out their ingredients ahead of time, so they're just literally throwing stuff into a bowl or that kind of stuff. So find a way that works for you that's going to make it an enjoyable experience, and it's also going to help you, use your time wisely as well. Okay. So again, use your prep time wisely. Another thing when you are cooking those meals, and double and triple those recipes. So that again, that can help meal prep for later in the week, maybe meal prep for 2 to 3 days at a time. So you're kind of only cooking once. Freezing leftover sauces, soups for future meals can be really helpful. Chopping up some extra veggies to have on hand to have in your fridge to throw on salads or in bowls or wherever you, or maybe a snack. Again, cooking extra meat to have on hand for meals and extra grains. Even having those three things extra prepared in the fridge and throwing them together, making a bowl is something that can be really easy if you already have it prepared. So by having all this stuff prepared, it really can help set you up for healthy eating for the next few days. Okay. Figure out what works best for you when it comes to prep for future meals. So again, we talked a little bit about this earlier. Really finding a way that works for you. So again, some people like to take, some people have the weekends off. They commit to Sunday. They do 2 to 3 hours of meal prep on Sunday for 3 to 4 days at a time. Okay. So you just need to find a way that works well for you when it comes to prepping the food. Again, some people like to do like the Tupperware. They go by Tupperware and they meal prep and they put all their meals together. So they're ready to go. But a lot of people think this is overwhelming. So it's not totally necessary. You can just chop it up and put, like you said, grains in one bowl, meats in one bowl, veggies in one bowl, and then you can just bring it out and throw it together whenever you're ready to eat. So again, it just depends on your schedule. So if you're working from home, maybe the second option would be better for you. You don't need to put all this stuff in a Tupperware ready to go. So again, just looking at your schedule can be really helpful on figuring out what's going to work best for you when it comes to preparing those healthy foods. And obviously, trial and error. So maybe you try one thing that doesn't work, maybe try something else the next time. So, this is meal prep it can be very overwhelming and it can be hard at first. So give yourself some credit, give yourself some time, and again, figure out just what works best for you. Okay. So we're going to just break down what a healthy meal really looks like. We've talked about this several times in other presentations, but especially if you're just starting out, really trying to keep it simple. So you see this picture to the right here. It just kind of gives you an overview of foods you want to include in most of your meals. So veggies obviously important. They're going to be lowest in calories, mostly highest in nutrients. So trying to make half your plate of those veggies is what's recommended. Always making sure you have some protein-rich foods and also good carbohydrates. Which is going to be whole foods. They help us feel fuller for longer, and they support a healthy gut. Okay, and having those carbohydrates too at every meal can also make the meal taste good. So that's important as well. And then a little sliver is going to be saved for those fats as well. We want to get those healthy fats, which also help keep us full and help us absorb nutrients properly as well. So I've touched on this probably almost every class that we've had, but trying to have a healthy eating pattern. I like to use this eat more, eat some, eat less healthy eating pattern because you're not restricting any food groups or any food, but you're aware of what you should be eating more of most of the time. So eating most of the time, you want to be eating mostly whole foods. So when it comes to the vegetables, that's going to be eating the rainbow. So you want to eat those red, yellow, purple, green, white vegetables. Again, trying to make half your plate those veggies, eating them as much as possible. And when it comes to the proteins, you want to eat most of the time the lean, minimally processed proteins. So eggs and egg whites, fish, shellfish, chicken, turkey, lean beef, bison, lamb, lean pork, wild game, etc. When it comes to the carbohydrates, you're going to see in the top left of the plate, you want to be choosing most of the time those whole minimally processed carbohydrates. So that's going to include things like beans and lentils, buckwheat, quinoa, brown and wild rice, potatoes of all types, fresh and frozen fruit, oats, corn, peas, barley, yuca, and any kind of whole grain bread, whole grain pasta, whole grain wraps, things like that. And then the last one is the healthy fats. So most of the time, again, whole healthy fats, whole foods, which is going to be including avocado, almonds, cashews, egg yolks, seeds, pecans, peanuts, so a lot of nuts and seeds and avocados in this category. And then you have the eat some part of the healthy eating pattern. Usually recommend these about 1 to 2 times a day max. So most of the time it should be the foods we just talked about, but also including these foods as well, because they also bring, we don't feel as restricted when we also include these foods, and they taste good to a lot of us too. So when it comes to the protein variety, the little bit more processed meat, so that Canadian bacon, the turkey bacon, the beef jerky, chicken sausages. Publix has some great green wise chicken sausages, all flavors. If you ever had those, they're really good. Minimally processed lean deli meat, so those uncured meats. They have a really great uncured ham at Publix that I love to get, and protein powders to fulfill any kind of protein needs if you're missing that. And then for carbs, more of the white variety, the white rice, the white pasta, the couscous, the granola, maybe an instant or flavored oatmeal, granola bars, maybe some unsweetened or dried fruit, and again, white bread, bagels, wraps, things like that, whole grain crackers. So a little bit more processed. And then the fats, coconut oil, dark chocolate, cream cheese, flavored nut butters, trail mixes, grass-fed butter, mayonnaise. Again, including these, but trying to eat a little bit less than the other varieties. And then to eat less, try and again limit these. I usually recommend about 2 to 3 times a week. Maybe that's 3 to 4 times a week for you. Trying to start somewhere depending on what you're already eating in your diet. But the protein variety, it's going to include those fried meats, chicken fingers, chicken nuggets, really high fat meats, sausages, processed deli meat, pepperoni sticks, and the high mercury fish, which we do have mackerel down here. Carbs, so cereal bars, fruit juice, flavored milks, any kind of pure sugar, honey, things like that, canned fruit with added sugar, soda, pretzels, chips, fries, candy bars, donuts, all that kind of good stuff that we do enjoy. So not throwing them out completely can really help keep a healthy diet and keep yourself mentally healthy as well. And then fats, again, trying to limit these as well, the margarine, the processed cheese, the vegetable oils, shortening, and then also alcohol is in this group as well. Okay, so just want to touch on a few things as well with the budget and healthy food. When you are prepping, clean as you go. This really can be helpful so you don't feel overwhelmed when you're done prepping and you have a whole mess in the kitchen. I really highly suggest trying to clean up as much as you can when you go. Again, we already talked about this, but prepping several meals at once, you only have to clean up once. So it's a huge bonus when it comes to cleaning. Prepping food can take time. So especially if you're just starting out, it could take a couple hours. But just so you know, practice makes perfect. The more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. And it will save you time during the week when you are most busy. So it's totally helpful to continue practicing it and learning what works well for you when you do the food prep. And again, prepping it when it's convenient for you. Everyone's different. Everyone has different schedules. So figuring out when is a convenient time for you to prep and sticking to that routine is good. I wanted to touch a little bit on eating out. So eating out can be very expensive, especially in the Keys. We've all seen that before. Even the fast food restaurants are becoming more expensive. I've had a few clients and I've asked them to tell me how much they spend, and it's definitely going up, especially if you get a meal. If you're not eating off the dollar menu, it can definitely be $7, $8, $9, $10 for a meal at a fast food restaurant. Meal and food prep and following previous recommendations can not only help you stay on a budget, but is also obviously going to be much healthier food for you. So again, it's going to save you, probably money down the long run if you take care of your health now. So you don't have to worry about paying for it later. Obviously, we're all going to eat out. We all enjoy eating out. So adding this into your budget can be really helpful too. So setting a set amount that you want to spend when it comes to eating out. Make a plan on how often you're going to be eating out and try to really stick to it. And then when you do eat out, just being conscious about, that list we just talked about, the eat more, eat less, eat some, and trying to choose more healthier options when they're available. So choosing healthier, more whole foods. Maybe they have a baked option. Maybe you can do a baked potato versus French fries. Maybe they have a better side option. Maybe they have some vegetables you can get as a side, or maybe half vegetables and half something else. So just being mindful of what you're eating when you're eating out as well, especially if you're eating out, a couple times a week. Then I wanted to go over just some time-saving foods. So I'm definitely a proponent of using, pre-packaged, pre-chopped, pre-cooked foods. You can definitely still eat these things and still follow a healthy diet. They make our lives a lot easier, especially when we're really busy. So don't feel like you need to cook everything from scratch because that's really, really hard to do. And we are all very, very busy. When it comes to the vegetables and fruits, they have pre-chopped, frozen, steam in a bag. They have canned, and then you can also get the whole fruits that are like apples, oranges, things you don't have to chop up, and also raw vegetables as well. So including these in your meal plan can be, again, really helpful in saving time. When it comes to protein, they have pre-cooked frozen chicken breasts. They have pre-cooked frozen chicken strips. You can get a rotisserie chicken and just kind of remove the skin to just make sure you're not doing excess fat on that. I love doing canned tuna. I do it all the time. It's such a time saver when I'm, in a pinch for time. They also have canned chicken, canned salmon, hard boiled some eggs. Sunday hard boil like 6 eggs. You have, snacks for the week. Individual Greek yogurt and cottage cheese on the right here. You're going to see two of the brands that I really like. I really like that good culture cottage cheese. That one's really tasty. It's like it says 19 grams of protein in that, so it's a great high protein option, which we all know again from previous webinars that it's good for weight loss. And then Fabergé here on the bottom is a great one as well. It's a really creamy. I like it a lot better than the Chobani. And again, they have just the plain version, which I recommend getting and just flavoring it yourself with things like fruits and nuts and things like that. You can also, nuts and seeds, you don't have to cook those or prepare those. They're already ready to go. Protein powder, again, to fill any gaps if you are lacking on protein. And literally, you could just mix it with milk or water if you need to. You don't need to make a smoothie if it's too much, too time consuming for you. One of my favorite go-tos, literally, I'll throw a scoop of protein powder, mix it with water, have an apple and a handful of nuts. And there's, a quick go-to meal if I'm on the road or something. So definitely doable. When it comes to the grains, they have the minute rices. Literally takes 10 minutes to cook those. They have plain oatmeal packets. You don't always have to do the unflavored or the flavored ones, which again are going to be the higher in sugar and things you want to limit, not do as often, but they do have the plain ones. And then when it comes to bars and things like that, you just want to be careful and look for the higher protein, higher fiber bars. I usually aim for looking on the bars and getting one that's about 4 grams or higher in fiber and 8 grams or higher in protein. The RX bars are one of my favorites. They have them at Publix. It's a good go-to to have in the house if you're on the road, you got to go somewhere, you need something to eat, you can grab one of those. So definitely a fan of the time-saving foods. Don't be scared to put these in your diet if you're trying to follow a healthier diet. They can totally be part of a healthy diet and they can save you a lot of time. And then I want to touch also on meal kits. So this has become a little bit more popular in the last few years. I personally have tried a lot of them, and they have a lot of promotions. You can get usually several of your first meals free when you sign up. So I definitely recommend trying to check those out, do the free trial, get a few meals, because especially with the HelloFresh ones, they give you really great recipes that you can recreate yourself. I definitely have a few recipes from HelloFresh that I continue to use because it was super easy and they taste really good. And they're also on the healthier side as well. But these meal kits provide most of the ingredients. Some provide all the ingredients. Some provide 75% of the ingredients. It just depends on which meal kit you use. But they give you a step-by-step instructions on how to do the whole recipe. They usually give you a really cool card and you just follow the recipe as it goes. This is also great for someone who is new to cooking and a little bit intimidated by cooking because it can really help develop meal prep skills. So they don't give you anything that's really, really complicated to make. It's usually very basic stuff. So definitely a great thing to do if you're a little intimidated in the kitchen and learning to cook. They can be affordable. You can choose like a 1 to 2 meals a week. So you don't have to do the 5-7 day meal option. You can definitely do 1 to 2 a week. And that can, again, help with your cooking skills. You can learn some new recipes and again, just recreate those once you're done with using it. You can always cancel if you need to. You don't have to commit to like a 6-month subscription, which is really nice. So definitely you can have that option of canceling it once you sign up for it. But again, a lot of the Blue Apron, a lot of them have promotions that will let you try it for free. Literally your first like 5 or 6 meals free. So if that's something you want to look into and you're a little intimidated by the meal prepping and the cooking, I would highly recommend doing something like that. Okay. And then with the final tips here, just want to go over a few things that seem to really help. When it comes to drinking fluids, obviously drinking water is free and the best thing you can do. So try not to buy sodas, teas, juice, that kind of stuff. Not only is it not usually the healthiest to do, but it also costs money. So trying to cut that out can be really budget friendly in that aspect. And then if you need help, ask for it. We have a lot of programs in this country. Stamps is one of them. WIC, Women, Infants, and Children, is actually one that I work for personally. It's a great program. You have a lot of great foods to people that qualify. And then there's also food banks. The SOS Food Bank on Stock Island is great. I work with them as well. They get a lot of really good stuff. So if you do need help, ask for it. It's been a hard and stressful year on a lot of us. So don't be scared to ask for help if you need it. You can also simply just Google the services and see if you qualify. Choosing off-brand items. So a lot of times when Dixie and Publix have their own brand, again, it's usually cheaper. So you don't have to buy the best brand of ketchup, or you don't have to buy Heinz. They're the comparable. The Publix or Winn-Dixie brand is the same ingredients and it's cheaper. So choosing those off-brand items can really help with budget as well. Another thing that I really don't recommend is going to the store hungry. I'm sure we've all been there. You're starving, you go to the store, and you just buy whatever looks good when you're in that state. So try not to go to the store hungry. I'm sure you've all heard that before, because you'll feel, and also unprepared. So if you go to the store, you're hungry, you don't have your list, usually a recipe for disaster, and usually going to buy a lot of things that you don't need. And again, you could blow out your budget at that point. A lot of things you can do as well is buying in bulk or buying extra items when they're on sale, especially with those BOGOs. Publix has some great BOGOs. So stocking up on things that you know that you're going to use can save you money in the long run. So I did want to touch, we talked about, I had a client maybe a couple classes ago that was asking about the paleo diet. So I kind of just wanted to touch on this question that was asked a couple classes ago. So what is the paleo diet? So it stands for Paleolithic, and what it basically does is it tries to mimic the way that humans ate during this era more than 2 million years ago. During this time, they obviously didn't have a lot of tools that we have today. So the diet consists mostly of whole foods, specifically lean meats, fish, fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. It excludes all whole grains, so things like red bread, tortillas. It excludes cereals, refined grains and sugar, all dairy products, white potatoes, which is just kind of random, beans, alcohol, coffee, refined vegetable oils, and most processed foods. So they're saying that these foods were not available during that era, so you shouldn't eat them. So we do have some research on this diet because it has been a pretty popular diet for the last 10 or so years. Most of the research is short term, but it does show a benefit of weight loss, reduce waist circumference, decrease blood pressure, and increase insulin sensitivity. But again, we really need some more data on the long-term effects of the diet. The issues with this diet, I would say, is definitely removing several foods and foods groups, which again, anything that removes whole food groups can be very hard to follow. So just keeping that in mind. And then I wanted to bring up one pretty good study that was a large randomized control trial. It looked at 70 postmenopausal Swedish women who had obesity for 2 years. And they were either asked to be put on a paleo diet or a Nordic nutrition recommendations diet, which was similar to the paleo diet, but it also included low-fat dairy products and high-fiber grains. So as you can see from these percentages, it was actually 20% more carbohydrate-based So again, it was a little, it included more options and more foods. And they did this for 2 years, and they found that both groups significantly decreased fat mass and waist circumference at 6 and 24 months. With the paleo diet actually producing greater fat loss at 6 months, but by the time 24 months hit, they were exactly the same. So again, short term might be a little bit better, but again, 24 months later, it's about the same as just including things like dairy and higher fiber grains, which we know are good for you and a lot of people enjoy. So as with most diets, it's probably not necessary to follow unless it's just something that you like and you enjoy eating the foods that they recommend on here. And just know that you can include things like dairy and grains and more carbohydrates that you enjoy, like in moderation, and still get those same long-term benefits. So just know that it's not, it's not this magic diet that produces something better. But if it is something that you do enjoy doing and the foods that they allow on it are something you are mostly in your diet, then that's fine to follow if you can actually follow it consistently and for long periods of time. Okay, so a little fast and furious today, but is anybody on here? Does anybody have any questions? Elizabeth?
You answered every question I even had written down. So
oh, good.
I know everything that I was thinking about, you hit on, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was just thinking about to ask her that, later, but yeah, you answered everything. That was awesome. I love this class. That was great.
Awesome.
And I love every class, but you know what I mean? Like, I learned something, and I always want to tell everyone that watches this, like, it doesn't matter how much education you have or how much you think you know about food or exercise or weight loss. Literally every single class I learned something from just listening, and it's amazing how when you just listen and how you break it down, and I think it's wonderful. So thank you so much for that.
Oh, awesome. Well, I'm glad to hear that. It's very cool.
Yeah. So I think we've got, I don't think we have any other questions. So looking at the calendar, I think our next class is going to be on Saturday, September 25th. And we're going to talk a little bit about healthy eating for the holidays. Tell us a little bit of what your ideas for that is.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can't believe it's already about to be September. It's just crazy. So yeah, the holidays are almost here. So we thought it would be appropriate to discuss that. What we can do to prepare for the holidays, especially for people who, are trying to follow a healthier diet, a healthier way of life. So we want to give you guys some tools and tips to help with that. Because yeah, it's hard on all of us. So we definitely want to be prepared. So we thought we'd get ahead of this and talk about this earlier rather than later. So we hope you guys will join us for that one.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing you in September, and everyone else on the call. We'll see them soon.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.
Right. Thanks, Elizabeth.
Bye.